Hello and welcome to another Out of Spec Reviews video. Here you join me in Fort Collins, Colorado. I'm actually at Ed Carroll Volkswagen of Fort Collins. Thank you to them for providing this ID.4 and this ID.4 so I can bring to you a quick comparison of the base ID.4, the Pro S there in white, and the first edition here in black. Now, typically we review just new cars and we kind of get them over with here on this channel. However, the ID.4 has been such a big hit with our audience, and I've been receiving so many questions on Twitter, my link is down below, about, should I get a Pro or a Pro S or a first edition? And well, while I'm not here to make your final decision, I should at least show you the three variants of ID.4 here in the US and explain what comes with what. Going down the line, before we get into the exact differences here between the car, let me just run through each particular one. This ID.4 Pro is the entry-level car, $39,995 starting price. That's of course before the federal tax credit of $7,500 available on all Volkswagen EVs currently here in the US, and before state incentives. You also get 3 years of free unlimited charging at Electrify America with all of these cars. I truly believe this is one of the best new car values on the market. You guys have heard me say this over and over, how big of a fan of ID.4 I am, not because it does anything extraordinary, just because it's so simple and easy to blend into your life. And it's probably the least annoying way to get from A to B. It's so comfortable, so serene, and so easy to use. This here is the base car. Initially, right off the bat, you can see the difference in the headlights. You can see the running lights here on the first edition, and the Pro S have this projector beam LED with this wraparound LED light signature. Here you have LED headlights as well. Honestly, driving them around at night, I don't notice too big of a difference. I've spent a ton of time with the first edition and really about 3,000 miles with this particular ID.4 here. And the styling from the exterior certainly looks better with these projector lights. Take a look here. You can see this nice LED signature throughout with that projector beam, low beam and high beam. And it also has cornering lights focused here on the side. But here, these reflective LEDs, forgive this car for not being absolutely clean. I just took it on a road trip. But you also get this light signature that comes throughout here and then stops when it hits the dash. Here, center grille, excuse me. Here, this bit will continue to light up when the headlights are on the first edition, and here on the Pro S, the Volkswagen badge itself will light up. Let's kick on the lights here in the Pro S so we can see what that looks like together for the first time. So headlights are on, low beam, high, low beam headlights. And there it is, the light up Volkswagen badge. You can see the entire light strip coming across the front. They're not actually blinking in real life, but I don't know if you can tell, this Volkswagen badge is lit, and I would say that's very premium, very nice, and not gaudy like the front of a Mercedes CLA with the light up badge. Here in the first edition, let me kick on the headlights to low beam as well. It's 100 degrees out here. So I have all of the cars running their air conditioning while we're talking, so they stay nice and cool when we go inside. And you'll be able to see here on the front of the car, the light signature comes across, but the first editions do not have the light up Volkswagen badge like the Pro S. Here, let's kick the lights on the Pro, the base car. Very simple, intuitive. You also don't have your all-weather lights on this particular car, so that you don't get this sort of side lighting function. And you can see the headlights are on, but you do not gain this bit of the grille here lighting up. Still, I think this is more than acceptable. Before we go any farther, let's talk pricing and availability. The Pro, the best value EV on sale, I think. Again, $39,900, I've mentioned that price. Coming down the line, we have the first edition here. You can no longer order a new Volkswagen ID.4 first edition, but you may find one like this car here, a demo, for example, where a dealer has ordered it, or as someone who ordered one originally, it came in the dealer, they decided not to get it, and you can pick these up. My girlfriend's mother actually just bought a ID.4 first edition. She was not a reservation holder, and it worked out very well for her. This car's $45,000 and some change. Essentially, you get a Pro S and Gradient package, but it comes with black mirror caps. Here in a black car, you wouldn't notice it, but it's got play and pause buttons. It's really good, and I think actually the best value in the lineup if you like options, since it's $45 and a bit. This here is a Pro S with gradient package, has the same 20-inch wheels, and it's $47,000, this particular one. So we have the full range from the base car with no options to the maxed out ID.4 here. Now, currently in the US, ID.4 all-wheel drive is not available, but this will be coming soon. So keep your eye on this space because we'll be testing the ID.4 all-wheel drive early, I hope, and we'll be bringing all of that to you. Now that you get an idea of pricing and availability, the Pro S and the Pro available pretty much anytime from your local Volkswagen retailer, and the first edition quickly getting bought up from inventory on the lots. Let's go through some more differences. On the exterior, you can see we have the 19-inch Kinergy AS all-season EV tires. They're made specifically by Hankook here for the base car, the Pro. And then we have Bridgestone Alenzas on 20-inch wheels here for the first edition as well as the Pro S, the same wheel. Now our friends across the pond in Europe have a 21-inch wheel option available on their ID.4 GTX, which is essentially the same car we're getting here in the US, just without the GTX badges, where it's just going to be called ID.4 all-wheel drive. But I don't believe we're going to be getting the 21-inch wheels either way that are available in Europe. So I wish. They look great, but these 20-inch wheels look just fine as well. And honestly, the base wheels, the Aero wheels on the Pro, look really good, but they're also functional. This car in the EPA testing cycle does over 250 miles. These cars are rated for 250. This one's rated for 260. So 10 more miles of EPA rated range going for the base car with that wheel and tire package. Now, of course, you can always get one of those and put these wheels and tires on. You'll get close, but you also have other weight saving measures here. A little bit less leather, less glass roof. We'll get into all of that. But I think the base car really looks just as good as the other ones. And you're really not missing out on anything from the exterior appeal. Now in Europe, our friends also get a much nicer rear LED light bar. Ours is also LED, but it's not as cool as their 3D one. Here in the base car, you'll have to forgive a little bit of the mess. Let's go to wide angle. This is a manual trunk. I had a bit of an explosion from a care package back here. We'll get that sorted. No power trunk here. So this is a manual, open and close, but very easy to operate. Here, let's head over to the first edition. I can show you what the automatic trunk looks like and works, how it works, I should say. You just push the button, it'll fly up on its own. This one also has some accessories like some all-weather mats, etc. And then you have this little button where you can just close that rear lift gate. You also gain the addition by having this power trunk. You gain the addition of having a switch inside the vehicle here, right here, that allows you to open and close the rear trunk. But, you know, is that big of a deal? Probably not. On the exterior of the vehicles, that's pretty much it. In the Pro S with gradient trim here on the right, you're awarded a little bit more color options, such as a blue color. Very adventurous, I know. I wish we got some more spicy colors in the lineup, but hey, you can always wrap your car to personalize it a little bit. Other than that, they're pretty much all identical from the outside. Let's jump into the interior, where that's where most of the differences will happen. You join me inside the base Pro ID.4. You can notice just a gray headliner, little extra lights here for the roof, but pretty much a, you know, sort of padded headliner. Now, I've driven this car quite a bit. I actually think it's a bit quieter than the cars with the glass roof. I really like it. Inside, you'll notice these cloth seats. I find them to be a pretty premium material. I actually think I would have preferred the old plaid seats from like a GTI Mark 7 or something like this, but you know, not bad at all. You get piano black, you still get USB-C ports, really strong air conditioning all throughout, and then you have this smaller screen here. Honestly, the function is the same. There's not much difference here between. You get a heated steering wheel and heated seats as standard, and really good functionality. There, you know, just the screen size is a little bit smaller, but still wireless CarPlay, all of the settings and features you would expect. Not much functional difference other than the visuals, but after driving this car again for almost 3,000 miles, I really don't notice anything. Here in the Pro, you also get this black bezel surrounding everything. You get a black leather steering wheel. And overall, it's a pretty nifty interior. I really prefer these manual cloth seats for daily driving. I think they're extremely comfortable. Should have a side note here though, no lumbar adjustments on these base seats. So let me show you some of the seat controls in this car. So coming in and taking a look at the seat, you have your height adjustment lever right here. You can lift up, the seat will go up. You can push down, the seat will go down. You have an electric backrest. That's great, something Volkswagen's always really done. And then you have a manual slide forward and back. This seat will go very far back, and I think even mount a little bit lower than the leatherette seats in the other cars. Again, I mentioned no massaging seat and no lumbar. We'll talk about massaging seats when we get over to these cars, which is amazing. And inside, it's all, again, fairly the same sound system, everything I can tell. I mentioned that this car also has heated seats and a heated steering wheel. All you have to do is with 2 fingers, just touch right here on the pad. Let me hit it correctly and you can kick your heated seats on. Very simple, very easy. To get to your heated steering wheel, you just click these 2 little seats here, and then you have 3 levels of adjustment for your heated steering wheel. Everything else pretty much functions as the other car will, and I've noticed very little lag, very little sloppiness. You still get the great dual color ambient lighting throughout. You can see a little bit of that right through here. And I really notice almost no differences between the cars driving them around. Now let's jump in the first edition ID.4. Coming in the back here, you can see this one is equipped with black leatherette seats. You can spec the first edition with either black or gray seats on the interior. You notice this unbelievably massively huge glass roof goes all the way back and across. You also have a shade that can electrically close. It's a beautiful glass roof. You actually get a very similar seat design. You can have these armrests here that I absolutely love. Really almost no complaints on the interior. Instantly you can tell that screen is a little bit larger. I believe it's a 12-inch here in this particular car, but either way, the numbers don't really matter. It's just a bigger screen. Does it do anything more though? Not really. All of these buttons, these touch controls along the bar are pretty hard to use at night since they're not backlit. So I would say that's definitely a concern right now. But the best part about the first edition for me are those pedals right down there, the play and pause buttons. I absolutely love that, and it just adds to the Volkswagen ID.4 quirk. In the first edition, you also get a white steering wheel and white bezels around everything. I think it looks really nice right now when the car is new. I've seen ID.4 first editions with almost 10,000 miles on them now, and they seem to be holding up really well, and they look great in white, and I really like this contrasting color. So personally, that's probably what I would get, is this particular one right here, because I like the white, but I could see that being a concern of some people. You also get other white accents throughout the vehicle here in the back. These leatherette seats have a cell phone pocket on either side as well. I think that's pretty nifty, and same USB ports and everything down here. So let's jump up into the front seat and look at the seat controls. Here, coming over, let's take a look at the lighting controls. To start, you can see your all-weather light right here, poor weather light, I should say. That basically kicks on these turning lights in the light housing itself. It shines a wider beam across the entire road. I actually would drive with those on most of the time. I think it's actually easier to see at night. And then you have, of course, your power backrest here. You can see that will slide forward and back with a touch of this switch right here. Let's go wide angle. You can, of course, move the seat forward and back. You can tilt the front up and down, and you can raise the rear or everything up and down at the same time. So really nifty seat. You also have lumbar controls. Memory seats here, 2 memory, and then the third button here is your lumbar control. That is actually a massage function. So it will, blow up air bladders up and down your back. And on a long trip, that's really nice. I will say the only annoying thing about the massage function is it lasts, I think, about 10 minutes, something like that, and then you're completely out. So other than that, the interior, this screen, all pretty much works the same. It's, just as snappy. Maybe this one's not. Maybe the smaller one's even a little bit quicker. Not sure. This car could be on some older software as well. So I know there have been some updates to improve snappiness, but overall, I've had no issues driving that car with software lag in my time, and I really love this first edition interior. This thing looks great. Let's go over to the Pro S. Since the Pro S is really going to be the car available in the future and the first editions will all be taken up, this is really going to be, Pro S versus Pro. So let's take a real in-depth look at the color scheme inside this Pro S and what's going on inside. Well, to start, let's just confirm that the Pro S has a power trunk. I believe it does. It also has this white ID.4 badge. That's kind of interesting. You have, yes, the same trunk, ski pass-through, all looks good. We have the same power trunk closing button. So everything there is pretty much the same. Roof rails on this particular one look great. All three of these have roof rails. The ID.4 Pro over there, they're painted in a dark gray versus this aluminum finish. It doesn't make a difference, I don't think. Coming in the back here, you can see the first edition did not have this little ID faceplate here, and the Pro and the Pro S both have it. This one has black leatherette seats. It also has a brown leatherette inlay and theme going around the exterior of the cabin. Personally, it doesn't do it for me. I don't know why the brown is here. I'm not a huge fan of brown interiors in the first place. This is just my personal preference, but I think it would be nicer if you did that with brown seats. Maybe they did this just to differentiate the cars, but I would not want the brown in my car in particular. Now, I believe you can get gray or black seats. If you get the gray seats in here, which I would get, I don't believe you get the brown, but you can go on Volkswagen's configurator site to figure all of that out. Again, we have this giant glass roof that we saw in the first edition, no change. And pretty much everything else is the same as the first edition in here. The larger screen, you just now have a black bezel around the screens. You have the same black steering wheel that's in the Pro. You have the brake and accelerator pedal, not a play and pause button. So I think that would be a nice little retrofit to see one day in the future in the Volkswagen store, the accessory store. And really, it's just a styling change. Everything here is, I would say, arguably the same. The only difference is this one's a couple $1,000s more than that first edition. And are you really getting anything for your money over the first? Well, you're getting a later build car, which means potentially less issues, but that's pure speculation. There's really no noticeable difference to me from the first edition to the Pro S on the interior or really exterior, aside from the mirror caps. And because of this very silly control panel over here, I have the child lock on by accident, and I've locked myself in the back of ID.4, and I cannot roll down the windows either. Let's see, this one is the ID.4 first edition key. This one is this one. So let's hold the unlock button and see if we can roll down the windows. It will not let you because the vehicle is on. Oh well, looks like I'm climbing up front to get out of this thing. Now that I've exited the vehicle, I want to share a little quirk with you. If you're watching this video, you're probably interested in purchasing an ID.4. I know a lot of you who own these have watched my videos. Thank you so much for doing that. You can obviously control the front windows here with this control. Let me jump in and shut the door so I can show you. You can obviously control the window up and down, but there's no rear control. So you touch rear, and then this is how you control the rear windows. But that's kind of cumbersome. What I like to do is hold the rear down until it starts to blink. So you'll hear another secondary click. There we go. You'll see it's blinking. Then I can click the roll up button and it does them all at the same time. You can see one switch rolls up and down all of the windows. You just have to hold the rear down until it blinks. Then you can deselect that option right there. I still wish there were 4 controls, but it's not as big of a deal, and it would not be a deal breaker for me buying one of these cars at all, really at all. Other than that, the app for the cars is pretty much the same. The Volkswagen CarNet system all works really well. You can see some of this display is kind of still slow and laggy. Wish that wasn't the case. I got to say, it's not the case in the base car. I have not noticed much of that. But also, to be totally upfront, I kind of just use CarPlay all the time. As soon as I get in, my phone automatically connects, it goes to CarPlay, and that works super seamlessly. Once you get all of your settings set up for the first time, you're pretty much good to go after that. But, you know, I'm sure it'll get better over time. Who knows? Another great thing about all 3 of these cars that I absolutely love is all 3 cars come with all of your safety and driver assistance as standard. So travel assist right here is standard, and you know, it's check the gear because we're in park. And then of course you can slide your screen across to have your navigation, your speed, or your driver assistance. You can highlight each one of those modules, of course. And of course, ID light that goes across the front that shows you when you're charging or when you need to make a turn is standard on all the cars. So tons of standard equipment over there in the Pro. So at this point, you're probably thinking, so Kyle, which one of these should I buy? And that's up to you. It doesn't matter to me, of course. Personally, I think you got to go you know, sort of with the Pro and really consider this as a value. At $39,995, you get a great looking car. You get pretty much all of the tech you need, driver assistance as standard. Certainly you miss out on that lumbar support down low, but overall a fantastic value here. Personally, I would try to find, at least at the time of this recording, a first edition that's left over. I think for $44,900, whatever this car is, right around 45 grand, you get the glass roof, you get the leatherette seats, the massage, looks good, the bigger wheels. But as soon as you start spending 47 on a Pro S with gradient, well, now you're talking about some serious money over here. I know it's only a couple $1,000s more, but I really think that first edition is the one to have. And if you can't go for a first edition, well, you're not really going to make a mistake going for either, but the base car is just such a value. It's hard to ignore. I really love it in this moonstone gray as well. I think that's the exact name of the color. If not, please correct me in the comments. I know you will anyway. The Pro S is great with the gradient package, big wheels, metal roof rails. You would just get these wheels. I'm sorry, you would get a little bit of a smaller wheel on the Pro S, as well as the gray roof rails as the Pro if you did not get the gradient package. Other than that, I think that's the video for you. Let me know which one you've purchased if you bought an ID.4. I know many of you have. If you're interested in the cars, which one would you go for? And if you hate the ID.4, let me know too, but there doesn't seem to be many of you who'd feel that way. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you on another Out of Spec Reviews video soon. Bye-bye.